Hello, my name is Timothy Parsons, and today I'm going to give you a look at my thesis proposal for Digital Cinematography Bachelor's of Science from Full Sail University. This proposal that we're going to look at includes 4 different PDFs. I have a script, a proposal, a storyboard, and then I have a media release. So we're going to start with the proposal. Here we can see the proposal worksheet beginnings. It's going to ask, obviously, my student name, ID, and email, and the pitch that I'm choosing, and also who my client is. Well, since I don't have a distinct client, I am doing this as a mini documentary or infomercial style. I have to use the school as my client, being I don't have nobody who's commissioning me to do this work. This is an idea for my own. So I'm going to talk about the basics of an electronic cigarette along with their use and functions. Not just the basic of a regular electronic cigarette, but I'm going to go from sub-vaping, dripping, regular vaping, and I might include the blues, the ones that you can get at the convenience stores. Most of the others are at the specialty vape shops where you're going to pick up these items. So it's going to be a demo or instructional video covering the general points of the product as well as some terms of the industry. I just want to inform and educate people out there that e-cigarettes are not a regular cigarette. They're totally different. They're on a different level. They're not harmful like a regular cigarette, and the vape or the fumes, whatever you would like to call them, the air vapor that comes out of the individual's lung is way less toxic than a cigarette's smoke coming out. So, and I want people to understand that, not only are these products safer, but at the same time, what each product could do for them and how it could benefit them from maybe quitting cigarettes and going over to vaping. So the treatment is like I said, it's an informational documentary about the basics and uses of an e-cig. It's going to have a gentleman presenting them. I'll be behind the camera. I will have my actor demonstrating it, and he's very knowledgeable in the e-cig as well as regular smoking area. I mean, he was a smoker for a while, and he picked up e-cigs and decided to go that route. So we'll go through there. I had to list a project scope and budget. Now, I've list minimum $75 to pay for food for maybe the day or 2 days. I doubt it's going to take that much. But you always want to have a budget. It's great to know there's a limit to what you can do, so that way you're not overexerting yourself and using too much money that you don't need for the proposal. You also have to list in here the estimated length, the number of talent, locations, and the critical props. Now, a lot of the critical props are stuff that I already own. They're items that I have purchased through my years of vaping, or more or less quitting cigarettes, and I've gotten into the vaping fad, and I like it. I enjoy vaping. I love the taste that it has. My body just feels much better. I don't think I could put it down because I still have that crave for something coming to my mouth like a cigarette would, with that oral fixation of constantly bringing something up and down. So, and I still get that when I vape, so I continue to vape for that purpose. So it adds more on, it continues on with asking how will I or the client measure the success. The success is really, in a sense, unmeasurable for this. It's up to the individual to want to quit smoking cigarettes. I'm just there to inform them what this product is, what it has that comes with it, and what you may need to venture down that field, to venture down that path, to maybe, to go on to the process for a cleaner health by vaping. I'm going to apologize for the bird. She is not listening to me and wanting to speak at the same time. She knows a lot about vaping. So then we're on to distribution, and my distribution is YouTube. That's how I distribute all my videos. Vimeo is another site, and possibly Bright House, but it would have to be in their health section of the on-demand part. It would be something I would have to have them put there. It's not something that you would just normally run just a single episode. So to distribute it to Bright House, it's like a one-time series special. It's not a commercial that you would run on a daily basis, because this video is going to be between 0 to 6 minutes long, maximum 6 minutes, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep it around that range. That's just what I'm shooting for. So then we're going to go on to the storyboard. Now, the storyboard, I took photographs of what I would like to show and how I would like this to look on camera. These photographs were taken with my phone, so they're pretty high quality, but they're not the greatest quality as what I would have achieved if I would have done the storyboards with my camera. But anyhow, as we go through the storyboards, we look and we can see that all the devices, or majority of the devices that I'm going to be using, are displayed. I do have a new battery that's going to be displayed, plus I'm going to have a new tank that's also going to be shown too, and these are going to replace another tank and another battery out of the sub-ohm segment, because they no longer work. But if you go through, and you can see that I have all the tanks listed, I break them down, show the individual components, whether it be the coil, the tank itself, and the battery unit for the tank, or whichever unit I used with that tank. The drippers broken down, and also my sub tanks are broken down to show more on the basis of how they're set up and the way I prefer to use them, and that way a lot of people prefer to use them. And then I'll have also the tools that and accessories that may be needed. Some of these units have built-in batteries for the battery packs. Some of these have, which I feel is a good idea, have where you can remove the battery, and I think that's a little bit better than having a soldered-in battery. If the battery goes, you can replace the battery and still have a wonderful working unit. Some of these that have the battery built into them, when the battery goes, you have to replace the unit. So it's a win-lose situation either way. Also, and I'm going to have, him closing out the video talking about the more or less the dangers and hazards of that do occur with it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've heard in the news that somebody has blown their face off with an e-cigarette. It's exploded in their face, and they're disfigured now and things like that. And it can happen. Just as anything in the world is possible, this is possible. You have the same risk when you get behind the wheel of a car of getting into an accident. But does that stop people from getting behind the wheel? No, this thing has, if you start modifying these things beyond I would say the recommended usage of them and the way they're supposed to be handled and maintained, then yeah, you're definitely going to run a risk of hurting yourself. They're a lithium-ion battery, which is extremely dangerous. So now we're going to get into the script, and the script's going to cover that. And the script's going to cover all the different types of electronic cigarette devices there are. Like I said, from the starter kits and the little small blues that you buy at the store, all the way to drippers and mechanical mods that majority of the people are using nowadays. And these we call those the cloud chasers. So you got to work out the script and how it's going to run, and your script usually does determine the length of time for your video. Excuse me. So the audio, the script is broken down into two different pieces for this type of project. There's a video side and an audio side, and you got to break down of what's going to happen in the video at the same time as this audio is coming through, so that way you can line it up, and when you go to make your shots and when you go to sit down and start recording this, you can go back over and say, okay, well, this individual was doing what I wanted him to do right then and there. I'm not going to go through my whole script completely. It is in this process of being revamped. We're trying to make it to where it's a lot easier for the individual to understand when it's being presented by the actor. So it's definitely going to get broken down a lot more into different segments. We're going to have a nicotine segment, or a juice segment, I should say, which is where we talk about the nicotine levels in the juices. We're going to have a sub-ohm segment, a regular vaping segment, and then we're going to have a tools and accessories segment. And the tools and accessories, they're going to be after the sub-vaping. The sub-vaping is going to be the third segment that's going to be a part of this video. And it's going to be covering sub-vaping. It's going to cover dripping and the tools that are necessary for building your own coils and re-wicking and being able to use these devices. And then we have last the media list. Now the media list was set up so that way we can compile all the video, audio, and graphics that we're going to be using inside, all the media that's not going to be recorded by our cameras. We have to include them into this project proposal, and in that way, so the teacher knows that we understand that some of the media has got to be licensed out. Some of it is free music for as long as you're not using it commercially. Since this is a mini documentary and I'm not selling this, this is an informational video. I am preferring to use Creative Commons music. Some of the tracks will be listed in here. Not all of them that I will be using, but there are a good majority of them. But it's going to be, it's to let them know that I'm some of it's copyrighted, some of it's mine. And so that way I understand, that if it's not made on that camera, then I have to acknowledge the individual in my video. And also I had to let the teacher know what I planned on using. So this is a little breakdown of my thesis project. I hope you enjoyed, and I will definitely put it up once I'm finished.